I'm a cowboy. It's what you miss news again. It is getting dangerously close to Halloween, and we're in that month again, so I've decided to start upping my production value here. I spent a whole $1 to add some flavor to my appearances in these videos. So, each time I do some videos, I'm going to try and break up the monotony of the way I appear with some beautiful costumes as they get more complicated and elegant with the time it draws closer to Halloween. So let's jump into the news, as today we have quite a few bits of juicy stories. We're talking about the first story being Halo with mixed reality. It's an experience that's going to be revealed. Note the word experience. This is 343 Industries talking about mixed reality. Basically what's going to be happening is that from October 17th, Windows mixed reality headset owners will get a chance to pick up those sweet Halo pistols and enter in an experience. A 5-minute experience. This is nice that this is coming out, but I mean really, ladies and gentlemen, I'm kind of expecting a bit more. VR games are extremely short-sighted and cost a lot of money, along with the invested interest of VR games themselves. And then on top of that, we're getting stuff like this. 5 minutes. Man, mixed reality headsets are pretty expensive too, man, to get them working with this type of technology properly. So that's a lot of money and a lot of time invested in a 5-minute experience. I don't think mixed reality or virtual reality is the future. Generally speaking, time and time again, we have seen that video games conform to a very simplistic notion that if you can play the game better, somehow manufacture it cheaper or faster, and have a better experience with the controller and the screen, that's how it works very well. It doesn't work that well with Kinect. It didn't work with Kinect 2. It didn't work with PlayStation Move, and the Wii motion controls wore off pretty fast. So I don't think this one is going to pick up either, but I could be wrong. With that said, let's move on to more Xbox One news, with the Xbox One game gifting now possible. It seems that Xbox One and Microsoft are doing very well for themselves. I can't promote them more right now, but don't worry, if they screw up in the future, I am willing to call them out. I have absolutely no problem doing that. With that said, it seems like they're taking a book out of Steam's page and saying, hey, you can gift games to people now, wherever you want, whenever you want, and that's kind of important, but that does open the world up for scams, hacking, things like that, so be careful out there. If you get a random stranger sending you free games, it could spell bad news. Who knows what's going to happen in the future with this, but it's just possible for some right now. There's probably going to be a massive update that's going to roll out and let this come abroad to everyone. Now we're jumping into other news, and PlayStation is apparently getting a new CEO as Andrew House steps down. This is very interesting. Quote, I'm tremendously proud of what we've built with PlayStation and Sony Interactive Entertainment, entertaining millions globally with the best in games and crafting a fully fledged digital entertainment company. And that was House saying in a statement. PlayStation has been a huge part of my life for more than 20 years, but with the business having achieved record-breaking success, now seemed to be the right time for me to pursue new challenges. I shall always treasure the friendships and the people that have made SIE such a wonderful place to work. I am also grateful to PlayStation fans and gamers around the world for their loyalty and support. John and the team at SIE are world-class, and I know the future of PlayStation is bright. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. They're going to be getting a new president. That's something to look forward to. This is interesting. Apparently, the current president is Deputy President of Sony Interactive Entertainment, John Kodera, taking his place effective immediately. So congratulations, John. My hat's off literally to you. I hope you do a great job running PlayStation. PlayStation has had some ups and downs with its current president, but I think they've been doing decently well. At least they didn't go the path of Sega, right? Okay. More PlayStation 4 news is coming your way with an update that has come out today, changing streaming messages and more. This is update 5.0. I'm not going to go over the full details of this update, but you could cite this article to check out the stuff that's important for this. Twitch broadcasters on the PS4 Pro gets a 1090p. I think that's a typo in this article. I'm pretty sure it's 1080p, but if it's 1090p, someone please correct me. So 1080p, 60 FPS streaming, and streaming PSVR will get new settings that allow you to display viewer comments in VR to keep track of your chat more easily. This is mostly for, again, changes in streaming messages and just small stuff. So there you go. You can check out the link in the description below. Moving on, we're going to be jumping ship to another console. I know, I'm covering the big three today. It's amazing. Nintendo is closing out the Miiverse with everybody's message community. So that's everybody's message community. That's exactly what it's called. And this is obviously not anything I have to explain. It will remain open till October 11th. And basically what it's going to do is allow you to put out a message. And I'm 99% positive that they're going to do a collage, kind of close out a video showing all the messages from the community and kind of a memorial to the Miiverse. So if you want to put a message out there, you can. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but it seems like that's what they're kind of pushing towards. Unity is also going to be working on improving the Nintendo Switch development abilities. That's an engine that is used with a lot of games. A lot of games use Unity. I have seen Unity used with tons of games, and they're trying to optimize it even better on the Nintendo Switch. Apparently, this is something that Yooka-Laylee was upheld by. They couldn't release this game on the Switch. They said in quotations, Unity has been providing developer support for the Nintendo Switch since day one, and we're proud to report that more than 30% of games released on the Switch to date is made with Unity, and we are happy to see our developers finding great success on the system. So it's really good that they're trying to improve the optimization for Unity on the Switch. It can only spell good news and more games for us coming to the Nintendo Switch. And to close out the Nintendo news, some SNES Classics on the Amazon, their pre-orders still haven't been shipped, and users are quite upset, I could imagine. On eBay, there are SNES Classics selling for anywhere between $100 to $250, so that's pretty crappy. But the worst thing about it is that somebody had reported that Amazon's treasure truck has loads of SNES Classics as well. There are tons of Twitter users tweeting at Amazon help, talking about these issues, so you can see that in the article. If you're someone who pre-ordered to Amazon, let me know in the comments below if you got your SNES Classic. It's pretty crappy since it's been out for a few days now, so kind of depressing, especially if you pre-ordered it. But that's why I never pre-order things, and I don't pre-order them on websites either. I'll pick it up when it's hacked once again. Out of the console into the PC master race, Valve is pulling 200 plus shovelware titles from Steam and shutting down a developer. I'm not going to go into this story, but that's the headline and that's what's going on here. I'm just going to cover the basics because Jim Sterling has done a massive video on this already. He kind of specializes in indie games and crappy indie versions and indie games that just get reskinned and stuff like that. So this is basically in an email to Polygon. A representative for Echo Studios claims that this takedown was done without warning and the studio's, quote, reputation is destroyed beyond repair. This is Silicon Echo claiming that Valve told the studio that its games were constantly reported as, quote, primarily for practices that are deceptive to the customers, and they felt that these was not grounds for, quote, complete account and business termination. So that's interesting that there's going to be a battle between a developer and Valve. What do you guys think? Do you think Valve has a responsibility to control the types of games that go on to Steam? There's very obviously a difference between a good game, a crap game, and shovelware. We've all seen it with the Nintendo Wii. You guys have seen the shovelware that got put out to that game. However, who subjectively is there to dictate what games should and should not be placed onto a service, a system, and who is there to dictate whether or not you should be able to spend your money on that or not? That's a good question to be asked, and I await to see your comments in the comment section below. So here's an interesting story about Minecraft. Years later, Laputa, Castle in the Skies, Minecraft recreation is done. There's not much to the story other than the fact that it looks absolutely amazing. So if you're interested in seeing this castle, check out the story below. You could always look up YouTube links as well. It's an outstanding build for sure. It seems that Star Wars Battlefront 2 PC servers are online again, and players have slammed the classic game as multiplayer returns. And by slamming, I think that it's been flooded. It's a lot, man. There's tons of players playing the game. If you're interested in Battlefront 2, check it out on Steam and GOG. That's where you can get these games. There's 64 player online support and crossplay as well for whatever reason. It's amazing to see this game coming back. I mean, to see how good this game is compared to the original Battlefront. I hope that the new remake of Battlefront 2 coming out is going to do as well as this one did. Check it out if you're interested in it. I think you won't be disappointed, especially if you're somewhat of a Star Wars fan. Continuing on, the Breath of the Wild's biggest design secret is lots of triangles. And not in the sense of everything is made up of a bunch of polygon triangles, you know, to create what it's creating in the video game itself, but rather that they just made a bunch of stuff in the game triangular. Like the mountain precipices are triangular. There's tons of locations that come to a point in a triangle, and there's a tweet about it as well to show exactly what they're talking about. It's pretty interesting that they do this. I mean, Zelda's very infamous for triangles and the Triforce, but there you go. There's something, if you have been playing through the game and you never noticed, there's tons of triangular structures within the game. Even the floating island has a triangle on it, so there you go. Finally, I want to close out on this. Even though we weren't talking about polygons before, there's a story about video games and what they look like before they're finished. So this is into the development process at its core, in the beginnings, during the design phases. Basically, they put in the HUD, the character, it's third person, first person. Some of these games are detailed where they just basically have the untextured grounds, and it's before the textures get put in and updated and remodeled. So basically you're playing on a bunch of squares and untextured environments. It's interesting to look and see how much work and how much these games change when the developers do finalize and finish developing them. If you want to see that, make sure to check the link in the description below yet again. And that's it for this episode of What You Missed News. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Video Gaming News. If you did, leave me a big like and make sure to share this to your friends. And if you didn't, leave me some constructive criticism on what we can do better. I've been your host, Cowboy Mario, and I'm signing out. Maybe we will see a return of Cowboy Sharko Mario return soon. Leave me a massive amount of likes if you'd like to see that. And as always, good gaming, God bless, and thank you for taking the time out to watch this video. Yeehaw, and I'll see you on the trail there, doggy.